Hello, fellow trail travelers. It is Carrie, and today I'm going to talk about airing down. And I've covered the topic before. I want to go into a little bit more detail today and some of the different tools that you can use from the cheapest to the most expensive. And I think that should cover a lot of stuff. Now, there's two main reasons why we air down: traction and comfort. Both can be very, very important. Now, for some people, they don't mind the comfort issue. And so they'll do a trail without airing down, and that's perfectly fine. You know, my buddy Dewey over at Colorado Malt Crawlers, he almost never airs down unless it's really necessary for traction. So, you know, once in a while on a super rough road or something, but generally he doesn't air down, and that's fine, just totally acceptable. For me, I'm 58. My kidneys, you know, like being in the same position and condition as when I left or when I started the trail, and so comfort for me is a big deal. And when we look at the suspension, what do we have to soften the ride? We have our springs and our shock absorbers. And we can put on the best shocks in the world, and still, if you're on some really, really rough stuff, you're gonna feel it. You're gonna feel it pretty good. So your second, or actually your first line of defense is your tires. Big tires make a difference. They have a lot more sidewall, so this is going to act as your initial shock absorber. Well, when they're fully aired up and they're at highway pressure, which on these guys is around 35 PSI, they're very stiff and you feel every little rock. By airing down, we provide some cushion and we have a much smoother ride. So today I'm out on Bunt School Road. I'm actually over in the Ironclads area, and to get here is a pretty rocky road. And without airing down, you get beat up pretty good, pretty quick. Air down, smoother ride, a lot more comfortable. You can go a little faster because you're not bouncing on every little thing. And so for me and other people as well, comfort is a big deal. For others, not as big of a deal. So comfort is a personal preference. Traction is another issue. And what gives us traction? Well, the rubber that meets the road, right? Well, the more tire we have on the ground, the more traction we have, right? Well, this is going to come in handy when we're rock crawling so that we can get more traction coming up on the rocks. It'll give us more footprint when we're in snow or sand, give us a bigger footprint to hit the ground, which more traction, right? If we see how bulged out this tire is, we can see that the tire is wider and longer patch hitting the ground. Now, on top of that, when we're crawling on rocks, it allows the tire itself to flex and kind of grab as it goes up on different obstacles. So that can be a big deal as well. So there are really good reasons for airing down. Definitely when we're doing some rock crawling, when we're in snow, when we're in sand, but also comfort. Now, how do we air down? Well, there's a number of different tools that you can use. The cheapest is just going to be your basic stem puller. Unscrew, take the stem out, get down to about where you want, put the stem back in, you're good. These are only a couple bucks, right? You can get them anywhere. Downside there is you don't have any real control over it. You don't know where you're going. You're just kind of guessing based on how long it takes or by seeing the tire as it deflates. Simple option, works for a lot of people. Your next step up from there is going to be something like this. This is kind of a Stown style. It comes in a 4-pack generally. You screw it on and it starts deflating the tire. When it gets to the preset pressure, turns off. Great. Well, the downside here is that you have to set these. And when you get them, they're probably around 18 PSI. And if you want to always go to 15, well, then you just kind of put it on there, let it go, check it, adjust it, get down. And once you have the pressure where you want it, you set it and kind of forget it. And they're going to do the same thing every single time. These are pretty cheap. You can get these for, I think, around 25, 30 bucks. So not very expensive, very easy to use. And an advantage on something like this, you can get to the beginning of a trail, you know, or a smooth section, whatever, put them on and keep driving. And then as soon as the pressure is where you want it, you're looking at like the TPMS gauge in the dash or a period of time, come out, take them off. And your tires are going to be where they want them to be. Now, these have been around for a long, long time. Very, very popular option. The next step up from there is going to be these. These are the JT Brooks Automatic Tire Deflator Pros. Very similar concept to the last ones. They just screw on and they let the air out. The difference here is you can set the pressure on here. There's a gauge on here, so I can preset them to 15, 12, 18, whatever I want to do, and just go to town. So very handy. These run about $100. So big step up, but also very, very convenient, and the ability to change it if you want. Today I want to run 15. Maybe tomorrow I want to run 10. So I can adjust them without having to go through the whole calibration process. Now, another inexpensive option is a rapid deflator. This is kind of cool. It's got a gauge on it. So we're going to screw this on to the stem, and then we unscrew it and it pulls the stem out. As we pull it back, we release the air, and then we can keep an eye on it and get down to the pressure that we want. When we're there, we close it, screw it back in, puts the stem back in, and we're good to go. So these are really fast, and these I think are around 35, 40 bucks. So not very expensive and very handy. I can hand these to just about anyone, explain it to them real quick, and they can go and start airing down. So another inexpensive but very quick option. Now what we did, we want to step up. And honestly, this is one of my favorite modifications we've done to the Jeep, period. This is Apex performance valves. So I went to Discount Tire. I had them replace the valve stems with the Apex ones. I unscrew the top, I pull it out, it deflates super fast. I push it back in, put the cap back on, and I'm good to go. With these, I can air down these 38-inch tires from 37 PSI to 12 PSI in about 16 seconds. So very, very fast. In about a minute, I can run around and air down. Very, very, very fast. The deflators, the JT Brooks and the other ones, those can take 5, 7, 8 minutes or so. They're not very fast, but they work. The Apex valves, awesome. Now these run $35 a piece. So you get a set of 5, then you may have to pay something to have them put on. So you have an expense there, you know, maybe close to $200 when you're all done, but it's right there. You can't lose them. You can't forget them at home. It's a solid, solid option. And aside from putting in actual monster valves, which are a little bit bigger, this is the fastest way to air down your tires. So there's the different options. Now, what pressure should you run at? And that's a really good question. And it kind of depends. Well, it depends on two things. Do you have beadlock tires or beadlock wheels, or do you have non-beadlocks? These are fake beadlocks. I hate that, but that's the way most of them come. They look like beadlocks, but they're not. These are just standard rims, just like stock. And if you go down too much, you do run a risk of debeading a tire. then you've got a problem. Now you either have to have enough pressure in a tank or compressor to be able to pop that bead back on, or you're changing a tire if that happens. With bead locks, you can go way low. You can go 2, 3, 4 pounds per square inch. With these, I will say, when I started off-roading with the Jeep, I would go down to 18 PSI. That was my comfort level because I didn't have any experience with airing down before. As my comfort level increased, I went down to 15 PSI. Wow, it made actually a big difference. From 15 to 18, it made a pretty good difference in the quality of the ride, the comfort of the ride. As we got more experienced and we got a little more gutsy, and we had other people with us, and we had the means to pop a bead back on if something happened, I started running at 12 PSI. 12 PSI with these tires is very comfortable. It's very, very comfortable. That being said, there are certainly times when we're in snow or we're on a really difficult type of obstacles. I'll go down to 10, maybe even 9, and I don't worry about it. I've never popped a bead. In extreme cases, I've gone down to 6, but I won't run a trail at 6. I'll run a trail at 9 or 10. And at that, I have a very high confidence I'm not going to pop a bead, and I'm going to be just fine. Now, all this being said, airing down, you understand why, you understand the reasons, you got the tools to do it. Remember, at the end of the day, you got to air up. So you either need a compressor or a CO2 tank. Those are your two big options. And I used to carry a CO2 tank, but where I live now, it's very inconvenient to get it filled. And so I just have a very high volume air compressor. It puts out like 11.6 cubic feet per minute. It runs about $200. I'll put a link in the description below so you can find that. I've got a video on that. And I can air up very, very quickly. Now, to do that, you can go one tire at a time and do it. I use the Deflator system. So it attaches to all 4 tires, and I'll show you that in a little bit. I attach it to all 4 tires, connect it to the compressor, and it airs up all 4 tires at the same time pretty damn evenly. So when I'm done, boom, I'm off and I'm ready to go. So I can air down very quickly and I can air up very quickly. So the inconvenience of airing down to me is not a big deal. I can air down in just about a minute. What we normally do, we hop out, Katarina starts taking the caps off, I go around, I air down, she goes behind me, puts the caps back on, and we're done, and we are ready to roll. So with the Apex performance valves, super fast way of doing it. So we're all aired down, we're gonna go have some fun on the trail, and then I'm gonna show you how we air back up. What goes up must come down. No, what goes down must come up, right? Once we air down, we got to air back up. And I'm using the Tozalaz air compressor, 11.6 cubic feet per minute, and the Deflator system. So you see I've got it connected. It goes to all 4 tires. Once I have it set up, I turn the air compressor on, and I can go hang out for a little bit while all the tires air up. It's not going to take very long, maybe about 5 minutes or so. But a good air compressor, you don't need a 4-tire system. It's just convenient. So if the convenience is worth the money, get one. If not, do 1 tire at a time. But that's how I air up. Thanks for watching, everybody. This has been Kerry with Trail Traveler. Hope you got something out of this. If you did, then please subscribe. And hit the like button. It really helps the YouTube algorithm and helps the channel grow. We really appreciate it. And if you're watching on YouTube, well, you have to be watching on YouTube. Underneath the video, there is a join button, and there's memberships. We're adding some discounts to different companies. We're doing some exclusive stuff for members here pretty soon. It's very inexpensive, And again, it helps support the channel. That's my only pitch on it. If you like what we do, we appreciate it. No obligation to do any of that stuff, but like I said, it does help the channel and it helps us create content. So thanks for watching, everybody. From Katarina and myself, stay safe out there. We'll see you on the trails.